Hey everybody, it's Cauliflower here. I'm bringing you an incursion gameplay as Oscar Mike in the game Battleborn. In this game, I'm going to show you, it's all one game, and it's going to show you a progression of Oscar Mike from lower level to higher level and how you play him, as well as showing you why the scope is kind of a necessity at level 3 with Oscar Mike. But let's go ahead and look at that video. So going ahead and looking at that video now. This is a low-level Oscar, so you'll get to see how he's played before he has a scope and afterwards. Without a scope, Oscar is really only good from close range, and he's really not that great from close range because you have a gun, so you want to shoot them when they can't hit you. So close range isn't really where you want to be. That's really why you want level 3 to get that scope. That scope really just helps you put out a huge amount of damage from long range, whereas like before you hit at half or quarter percent, or not half or quarter percent, but just you hit at half or a quarter of your full damage from long range. You saw it just go down to 19 right there at range. But anyways, when you use your scope, you hit full damage from very long range. It's very hard for them to get far enough away for you to lose any damage. And so then you just can pound out consistent damage. As you can see, you get 30 bullets per clip, and once you level them up later on, I think at about level 7 with his scope, Oscar hits about a 40, so that's 1200 damage per clip, which is quite a lot. So the main thing with him is just stay away from people, and then when they get close enough, use your camo to get out of there, sprint out. Just don't ever engage so that you get directly attacked yourself. Right now, obviously, I'm getting attacked a little bit, but I still have my shield, and I'm just keep backing up, make sure the enemies can't hit me. I'm in cover from all enemies from all angles right here, unless they push out. And if they push out, I've got time to adjust. And then right here we've got a minion wave coming, and I don't want to push too far, so I just put some damage on the sentry from right there. Then I saw that boulder was weak, so start pushing over here on boulder. There's a lot of enemies out there, and I don't really want to be seen, so I kind of back up and just put some damage on the sentry. Always make sure when you have the sentry's shield down that you keep shooting at it. The sentry's got like a 10-second delay between when its shields are hit to when they start recharging, so if you just put one shot in there every 10 seconds, you keep its shield from recharging, and so then you have to do way less damage to take out the sentry in the long run. And then because they haven't seen me yet, I'm just putting damage on their sentry, hitting criticals. They're going to end up finding me just because that sentry, once he starts shooting at you, you become pretty visible. And so now this Galilea is coming at me. She stuns me right away. So, like I said, whenever they get close, use that cloak. I didn't run away because, as you can see, I'm not weak right now. And so that Galilea went for shards. Luckily, that boulder who came to help the Galilea missed me. So I was able to put some good damage on that Galilea before they really are able to do much of anything to me. And then by this time, my team's starting to come over here, and so they're really in a lot of trouble right here. So I was able to put on a little bit of damage, and then our Atticus comes in and cleans up house. And meanwhile, because I kept the shield down on the sentry, our team's able to take it out, and then I just readjust and get ready to make the push on their second sentry here. So this video is about over. This next video is going to be the same clip just later on in the game, or it's going to be the same game just later on. So let's go ahead and look at that right now. So this is the second video here of me playing as Oscar Mike, and I've got my scope here. Two things you're going to notice is that, one, I'm behind enemy lines a lot, or pushing them kind of behind their lines, and two, I buy a lot of buildables that use slow. I use slow just because when you have someone slowed, it's super easy to hit them with range attacks. So not only did I buy that thumper, but I buy this accelerator, so everyone's really slow and real easy for me to hit. They all go after that accelerator right away, but we've got a lot of minions and stuff, so they're body blocked, and I use my ultimate just to clear them. And so we've got 3 enemies down, and then a minion wave, and the double thrall's coming, so we're definitely putting a lot of damage on this sentry here. So I just go up and I start clearing the minions as quickly as possible. As you can see, the sentry almost has its shield down. I kind of push in towards the sentry a little ways, but then what I really want to do is get over towards the shard. The first thing I do is steal that shard, because stealing shards is the quickest way to make your team win. And then the second thing I do is, from the safety of back behind, or back on this edge of the map, I just put as much damage into that sentry as I can. I'm trying to put a lot of damage into its critical spot. obviously, because that's the best way to do it. But then I start taking a lot of damage, so I just get right out of there. As you can see, we're down one character, but we're doing real well. And then our Miko gets attacked, so I protect him as much as I can, and then I go right after that sentry again, just because it's almost dead, and that's how you win the game, obviously, is by killing the sentry. But then that Galileic starts coming right after me, so I drop my ultimate. They were able to kill our Miko, but then I go back to that same accelerator trick. So the thing that's great about the way I just did it there is behind the enemies was my ultimate, in front of them was the accelerator. So if they were going to run away from the ultimate, they had to run into the accelerator. So that's what the Arendi tried to do, but when she went into the accelerator, she slowed, so I kill her anyways. So I got a bunch of kills out of that little brawl right there, and then I almost kill this Alani here too, but Alani's hard to kill, especially when her team's dead, because then all of her healing goes to herself. And then I push a little too far, and that boulder almost makes me pay for it. But with stealth, you can really save yourself in most situations. And then try not to pay too much attention to this part. I'm not sure what I'm hitting when I'm jumping, but I failed this jump like 4 times. It's really not that hard. I'm not sure how I did so poorly at it. But then the good thing about me failing that jump that many times is I got most of my cooldowns basically back, so I'm going to have my ultimate, and there's a minion wave coming. And just like before, when you use your ultimate, you want to use it on minion waves, so I've got this minion wave, a bunch of enemies right here, so I dropped that ultimate. I think most of them are just going to back away, but I'm still able to do a couple hundred damage to not only their minions, but a couple of their players. And then this boulder starts pushing me real hard, but again, as long as you get your stealth up when you're Oscar Mike, you can really get out of there. I'm not really sure what killed that boulder. Maybe it was my thumper, because I don't think you do any damage while in stealth. I didn't shoot him to kill him, so I'm not sure how I got that kill. But hey, it gave it to me, so that's always awesome. But then I completely miss on a grenade, and that's just because I'm not used to Oscar. I also use quick activation, so my skills, usually the default Battleborn is you have to press a skill twice for it to activate. I do mine so that I press the skill, and when I let go of the button, it activates, so I can aim it as long as I hold down, but once I let go of the button, it activates, and that allows me to use them quicker. So I tried to do a real quick grenade right there, but I completely miss. And I do it again, and part of it too is I just got an increased velocity on the grenade that I shoot, and so I just really am not used to it, and I'm not used to playing Oscar. I mean, obviously I need to get better at that, and I should probably just aim it. If I would have just aimed it rather than trying to do the quick activate, I would have been fine. But either way, even missing all those grenades, I say it's still a pretty good Oscar gameplay. And like I said, I don't have Oscar fully leveled up. Once I do, I'll get a full Helix build on him. But if you want to play Oscar well, the way I do it is just get that scope at level 3 and sit back and do damage, and then run from different angles just to get damage consistently on the enemy team where they're not suspecting it to be from. And then just always make sure to use that stealth when they get too close, and drop your ultimate not only on minion waves but on Battleborn. Wait for the minion wave to meet up with the enemy Battleborn and hit them all